All right, so we're going to be in 2 Peter chapter 2. We'll get started with reading in verse 1. It says, "But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom they shall of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved for judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly make them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord. But these as natural beasts, brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of things that they understand not, and they shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their deceivings, while they feast with you." Amen. That's a mouthful, but I think that this mouthful that we're reading tonight is very apt for the day that we are living in America. We know that there were false prophets in the past. In the Old Testament, there were those that struggled. There were those that had just turned away from God and made a mess of things. They corrupted the temple. They corrupted feasts. You know, we're reading in Malachi, and we know that there's a mess that the priest had made with horrible offerings. And we realize that there are those that should be teaching and examples to us, and making bad examples. And that happens even today. We look and we find televangelists that are all about money and glitz and cars, and calling it their own personal miracles and wealth when they get to have a personal jet and all these different things. That's not what God set out to do. Yet we find there are those that will make merchandise of us. Because we believe, because we put our faith in Jesus Christ, and we believe in the things that are unseen, they think that they can manipulate us in a way that ends up fleecing our pockets and basically causing them problems in the end. Let's read a little bit more about those problems. We'll bring them up. It said that those problems, it said they will bring damnable heresies and denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. what they do is they replace the gospel of Jesus Christ with something that is false, something that is not, something that looks a lot like it, something is enticing, but instead is something that is a heresy and something that will bring swift destruction upon themselves. You look into the past and you look at some of them evangelists that have fallen. And the reasons that they've fallen, or the speed that they fall, is because they caught up in their own lives. And there's destruction that they faced among them. It says, and many will follow pernicious ways. Pernicious ways. Unprofitable ways. You want a word, unprofitable, there you go. It says that they'll follow after unprofitable ways by reason of whom they of truth speak evil of. Instead of doing the things that they're supposed to, they're speaking evil of the ones that are trying to do right. They turn it around on us. And it says, through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Here's the thing. I look at this and I realize we have people that are in places of leadership, places of preaching, places that are supposed to be helping to guide us. But instead, the things that they are supposed to be doing, it's been a long time since they've done it and done it right. And the things that they're doing, we mentioned before, it brings damnation upon themselves. And we know that that wrath of God does not slumber. And we go farther on, it says, he gives us examples. And in these examples, he says, take the angels, for instance. They sinned. And what did God do? They didn't have a covenant with Jesus Christ. God sent them straight to hell, in chains, in darkness, until the day of judgment. Where what happens at the day of judgment? Well, there's no rescue for them. They're getting cast into the everlasting lake of fire. It says, and then he spared not the world, save Noah, a preacher of righteousness. He brought a flood upon the world, all of the wicked and ungodly people. How many wicked and ungodly people are out there that know who Jesus Christ is? How many wicked and ungodly people actually know that there is a God, but they've turned their back on him?